Welcome to Experience 35, Island Snow with Bootstrap 5. We're going to create a mock-up of the Island Snow webpage. Now, this mock-up is not going to be the same as the real Island Snow. We're going to just learn how to lay out different items like the icons, the logos, the menu, or the things across, having an image in the middle of the page, and having a footer. The fonts are different, the icons are different, spacing and margins are different. There's lots of stuff from the real Island Snow webpage that I don't do. I've added the footer, which they have a very different footer. I've also added this My Cart drop down. The links on here don't actually work. Drop downs don't necessarily work either. We're just learning how to use Bootstrap 5 to lay out a page and make it look nice. We have 3 WODs for today, and this is the first WOD, so let's get started. Let's cancel that. And let's start my WOD timer. I'm going to create a new Island Snow. And Snow. It's going to be a private repo. It has a README. I'm going to add, let's see, HTML. Well, never mind. I'll add it later. I want to clone this to my desktop. I want to clone it. I want to open in IntelliJ. I want to add a new file. .git ignore. I want to add it. Don't ask again. And we don't need the .idea or the, that's good for now. We could probably do star.iml, and then on my Macintosh, that .ds, but that's good enough for now. Okay, so now I am going to add a new HTML file called index. The title's Island Snow. Oops, no, I don't care about that. Let's go look at, say, we've got our Island Snow, and then we need our style.css. So I need a new style sheet. If I could type. And it's going to start off being empty. So now I've got that. So I need to include the Bootstrap 5 stuff. So I want this stuff right after the title. I also want the Bootstrap icons so that I can get the icons. And lastly, I want my style.css. Style sheet href equals style.css. So I want to load my style after all the Bootstrap stuff so that hopefully I can get my stuff to happen more specific than theirs so I can get my changes. Okay, so we want to create the nav bar, that first top little 4 icons, 3 icons, and a cart drop down. So we want to do this top nav bar. So we want to use the nav bar. And so we can take a look. So here's a nav bar. Looks much more than we need. So let's copy the nav. So that's the nav bar. We want it in the body. So this is going to be okay. So my nav bar, I don't need a brand. I don't need the and expand. We're going to make it expand it small, just so it's always expanded. And then we want a class nav bar, a UL class nav bar nav. So we want a UL in here. And then we want some nav items. So we want our li nav item. And what does this have? This is going to have the Bootstrap icons. So I've bookmarked my Bootstrap icons, and I can search for the first one, which it should be a Facebook, a Twitter, a Pinterest, and an Instagram. So Facebook, I can copy this. So let's go and take a look at what we got. Oh, let's take a look at what we got. It'd be helpful if I take a look at it. So I've got this, but that doesn't have any padding, right? So that's shoved up again on the edge. So what I want to do is probably wrap all of this, Command-Shift-J, Command-Meta-J, surround with a tag, and I want a div class container, so that will give me some padding on the left and the right. So now I've got some padding that look good. So now let's just create the four of them. Oh, they're really slammed together. I want to put some padding around them so they're not all stuck together. So let's go back and say P-1. Give it a little bit of padding. Let's duplicate them again, Command-D. So that looks nice. They're spread out nicely. That works for me. So now let's see, what did I need to do? I wanted a Twitter. So we can go back to this and say, well, it is Twitter, okay. So Twitter and Pinterest. And then Instagram. Now you can look them up to see what they are. I've done this way too many times to know. Okay, so now I've got those four. Now I want to put four over here so I can copy my nav. And I only need three because I'm going to have a drop-down item. And they're over here, so that looks good. And so now, let's go look what I need. I need a house or a home. House, I think. House. So it looks like a house fill. And a search thingy, maybe? looks like search. And lastly, it looks like a person. Looks person. How about a person fill? Okay, so let's see. Those look good. Those look good. And now I need a drop down. Apparently I didn't even need the content and justify to get it out there. It happened by itself. So then I use my drop down, new tab, or I can actually pull it off of here because here's a drop down. But instead of it being a list item, I'm just going to make it a div. So I want it to be a div. This is going to be a div. And again, it's not going to be a link. It's going to be a div. And inside, then I want my menu. But it's, again, I don't want an A. I wanted to say your cart is empty. /UL. /div. And I don't need an href. And I don't want the word drop down. I want an icon that is a cart, I think. And it is, in fact, a cart. So actually, let's just boop. And then we want the number. And let's see what we get. Pretty good. Cart is empty. Wish I could get that. See how that's not lined up per. Oh wait, why do we have a? There's lots of margin on this sucker. Oh, maybe I don't want the nav link. Ah, much better. No nav link. Don't want that margin or padding around that thing, so that we want to line it up right here. So now let's say, does that look similar to what we got? We got some padding, we have 4 icons, we've got 3 icons with a drop down, 4 icons, 3 icons with a drop down, cart is empty, looks pretty good. So, commit your stuff to GitHub. We've got 3 files. WOD1 done. And let's see how long it took. 13:35. Pause. Commit to main. Push origin. view on GitHub. We've got our git ignore, our readme, our index.html. We're good to go. Thank you very much. Hope this was helpful.